Kia ora, everybody, and welcome back to season 2 of the Careering Podcast. My name is Kelsey, and I am one of your co-hosts, and I'm here with Melissa Davies, the founder and creator of Careering 9. Kia ora.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. Oh, we're going French today.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you've listened to season 1, you know that we like to mix it up with a few different little languages every now and then. Not much of it, I'm not going to lie.
You're not that talented.
Not that talented. It's
I have
usually
so
crazy.
much respect for people that are bilingual or multilingual.
My brain does not work that way. I'm going to try and force it next year, but that's a whole other story. How are you? What's going on?
What is going on? The end of year mayhem, of course, but also a lot of excitement about 2024, actually.
End of year mayhem, Christmas, New Year's, all of the things.
Yeah, and I just think this sense of deadline that gets created societally around this time of year here in the Southern Hemisphere, like everything kind of has this fake finish.
It's really weird, especially if you're working with people that are like in the UK or sort of in cold places. They're just like, oh yeah, I have a couple of days off. It's like Easter.
Yeah.
But like for us, we're like 2 fucking weeks, mate. I'm uncontactable. Do not talk to me or anyone else in this whole fucking country.
Yes.
Yeah.
But speaking of not cold places, what are your plans, Kels?
I'm going to Raro, baby. Yes. I'm so excited. I'm missing all the festivities. I am leaving on Christmas Eve and I get back on New Year's Day.
So good.
But because Raro is 23 hours behind, I leave at 2 p.m. on New Year's Eve and I get back into Christchurch at 10 p.m. on New Year's Day. So I miss all of it and I am stoked.
Oh, that is so good.
I start the new year on a plane
Oh, that's so good.
and in premium economy.
Very nice.
Yes. What are you
So
doing?
glass of bubbles.
Oh, yes, definitely bubbles.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Low key, hanging with fam, taking my little niece to Wellington, actually.
Cute.
Yeah. So for all of the nieces and nephews, they all kind of have, take them on a trip somewhere, just me and them. And so it's niece number 4's turn. And yeah, we're going to go to Wellington.
Nice.
And she's obsessed with animals. So I'm quite excited as an animal lover as well, because her and I will have a great time. Yeah, I feel like we'll both be very happy.
Yeah.
And we're going to go to Staglands and probably go to the zoo.
Well, as a ex-Wellingtonian and lover of Wellington and promoter of Wellington, if you need any tips, let me know.
I will hit you up
Yeah.
because I want to make it as chilled as possible.
Yeah,
and
gosh.
also make sure that a little 10-year-old has a good time.
Yes. Amazing.
Yeah, it'd be really cool. I'm actually looking forward to it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about this week?
What are we talking about this week? We are gonna go have a little deep dive.
Oh, good. Oh, good. It didn't take us very long to get there, did it?
Not in the therapy way.
Okay, good.
I mean, it might. We have no idea where these conversations are going to go.
I don't pay you enough to be my therapist.
I'm also not trained. I'm very empathetic and I'm a good emotional support dog. But
You've also read every fucking book under the sun. And could give me 100 theories on one thing at any point in time.
I do weirdly love psychology.
And statistics.
Yes. Yeah, I could give you the facts and the logic and
Terrible,
rationale.
terrible combo.
Yeah. I can listen and be empathetic too.
Yeah.
But if you need a diagnosis, I'm ready.
My level of being able to diagnose is sounds a bit fucked up.
Also appropriate though at times.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you don't need to go too deep on things.
Sometimes you just need to actually go to a therapist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
what
that
are
is
we
not
actually
what we're
talking
gonna do.
about?
Yeah. We're going to do a deep dive on a career challenge or situation that we've experienced this year. So we'll do one each. We'll take turns at having a sort of a listen into something that we've found challenging and maybe how we grew or learned from that experience, how maybe where our mindset shifted in some way. So I think sometimes it's quite useful to reflect on, Kelly Clarkson's "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger."
It's like, where are we going with this?
Yeah. So saying that, because I'm driving the topic, I'm going to
like-
ask you the
I
question.
was like, let's not start season 2 with that. Like, how about
Yes.
you start?
No, you start. No, you hang up.
What is the question?
The question is, what is an area in your career that you've found confronting, challenging, interesting, brought a new dynamic to your world this year?
Cool. So, like an easy one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
You know how I roll.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess for me this year, I would say the biggest biggest challenge or the biggest thing that I've had to come to terms with or work out is stepping into my new role. I'm no longer a colleague, but I still have a CEO. And so I'm like in this weird no man's land of just me at work. And
so you have no direct peers?
No. And like having moved from being a direct peer to that, it's a real weird dynamic. Like so it's super odd.
So that promotion from within a team to then running that team?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is hard.
And especially when like you've got a team that's amazing, but the biggest thing that anyone can learn as a leader is that you can only lead if they are willing to follow. And it's odd. Like it's isolating.
Yeah, it is isolating. That's a good word.
I guess it's probably like I know that there's a lot of lot of rhetoric around CEO level and it being really isolating at the top there as well. But yeah, just at this team lead level, I'm like, I've got different weird priorities and like I want to join that really inappropriate conversation over there.
Really, Cass? Doesn't sound like you.
But also, guys, we are at work. And so I'm just kind of, it's really hard because my natural instinct is to be friendly with everybody, and not to say that leaders can't be friendly, but like, you know, I'm open, I'm friendly, I'm just like there.
Yeah.
And then I've got a new expectation on me and I have to like intervene on just a standard behavior, and I feel like I am policing myself a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so interesting. There's a ton of books and research on that. But you're right. A lot of what you're saying
told you.
Yeah. I had to do that. That's interesting because kind of what you're saying too is around your role in that group has changed. So there's different boundaries, different expectations, probably different levels of disclosure that you now have.
Yeah.
Or an ability to disclose things because you've got different insight, you've got different perspective.
And like, it's not necessarily like not like secrets. Like if it's really fucking important, I can keep my mouth shut. But like if there's just stuff that I'm like, oh, this is news, I'm like, oh, I don't know whether I should know this because I can't keep my mouth shut. Like it'll just slip out at some point, which is a dangerous level in this role.
No, you're good at secrets.
Oh, like secrets, totally fine. But if it's just like innocuous gossip, I'm like, oh, I want to talk to everybody about this thing. Like I've learnt this thing.
Don't we call that transparency in management?
We'll call it whatever makes me sound better.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, you're being really self-deprecating. And I'm like, it is not that bad. You are not like that.
I just love a good chat, you know?
Yeah, you're a friendly little critter.
Sorry, hang on a second. Not once in my life have I ever been called a little critter. I mean, I'm not mad at it, but like not really a term people often use.
But you like literally, you could put you in any room and you will just chat with people.
Oh yeah, and I talk absolute shit.
Yeah,
but
yeah, see, you know, friendly little critter.
Yeah.
So what you're saying though is your natural tendency to be really open, really transparent, chat to everyone, treat everyone the same has changed because you've kind of been on the same level as everyone to now having new responsibilities, accountabilities, having to ask them to do things differently and maintaining a new dynamic in a relationship with your manager as well. Like that's a lot.
And it's like, it's also, I have to be careful of how I behave because I can't ask people to behave otherwise if I'm not if I'm not living that, and I have to be really aware of my natural leadership style is really empathetic, really like connected, really communication focused. That's who I am as a person. And it's not to say that it's wrong. It just also means that when it's time to switch into manager mode and actually do the hard thing, it is even harder. So I think I've struggled with what hat am I supposed to be wearing right now? Like, am I your manager? Are you my CE, or are you like on the same level as me, or we're like,
Yeah, is this a peer conversation? Yeah, what is the dynamic here?
And I think this year has been a real year of trial and error and trying to figure it out and trying to like just find myself within all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it becomes a bit like the House of Mirrors, where you are looking at yourself from every direction, and naturally we tend to see the things we're doing wrong rather than the things we're doing right. And so it becomes this echo chamber of, oh, I got that wrong, I got that wrong, I got that wrong. Because there's no rule book, right? You can read all the books under the sun, but there's no rule book that teaches you how to shift from being a peer to leading a team.
And like, you know, in our organization, there's like, we've got the CEO and I have two very different leadership styles, and we talk about it all the time, that it's actually a really good thing that we have those two different styles, because it means that we can support each other in ways that make it just better for the business.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I try to be quite authentic in how I work with my team. And some days I'm like, I don't fucking know what personality I'm putting on today. Like, I feel bipolar sometimes.
So that corporate poker face you haven't perfected.
Absolutely fucking not. Like, there's different. I have had a few memes sent to me. It's like when my face doesn't get the message to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I can relate. I have that same challenge.
Yeah,
I had to work at that.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's just been. I think that's been my biggest lesson, my biggest challenge, my biggest thing this year is growth within understanding how to fit in an organization where you might be that one level.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I talk a lot. I feel like I've spoken to a lot of people this year about how, especially here in Aotearoa, but also in other geographies, so not isolated to here, is there's not a lot of focus on teaching people how to be good managers. The narrative has become all about leadership. And I'm like, actually, you still need to manage, because there's contexts where you can't lead. You actually need to manage performance. And that could be in a sporting environment. It could be in a community group. It could be at work. But they're getting performance through a collective team effort is actually not just about modelling behaviours.
Yeah. And I think that's probably it's been really interesting for me this year, is understanding the relationship and the balance between leadership and management. Yeah. And you have to have both.
Yeah, you do.
You can't have one or the other.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I look back on managers, or I look back on leaders, or look back on those sort of things, and I find that most of those people were either really strong in management or really strong in leadership and not balanced. And I'm like, okay, my mission is, how do I become balanced in that space?
Oh, see, I feel like I've been really lucky. I've had lots of people that were really good at both. Yeah. But they were people that had probably worked on their own learning and development a lot, not just professionally, but maybe personally. Yeah, and a good mix of men and women, and age and experiences too, actually, now that I think about it. But I don't think it happened by accident. I think it happened by design. They intentionally put effort into working out how to manage and get the best from themselves and others.
What to switch on when.
Yeah. And I think that the challenging part of management is accountability.
Oh, totally.
Because it's the hard bit. And how do you get everyone to agree and commit and buy into it? And in about 3 or 4 environments I've been sort of consulting into this year, what I've seen is great people with great intentions trying to do their absolute best, but struggling to form a team and struggling to deliver an outcome. And that's not about leadership. That's about management. Yeah. And that's why I get a bit vocal sometimes, and I'm a bit sick of Simon Sinek, because I'm like, you can't just always start with your why. Sometimes there has to be a conversation around why not. Why was it not delivered? Yeah. There's actually some, there's a balance. It is about both.
So I have a coach. So I have a leadership coach, and I went to one of my sessions, and he went, so how was the month? And I went, well, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, all I heard was a whole lot of talking, and whether you talk to me about it or not, the result is still the same. nothing. And I went, noted. Thank you. And it has just stuck with me for so long, is that, it's the result that matters. It's the outcome that matters, and understanding why or why not is the thing that helps you not make the same mistake or do the right thing again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to do a whole episode on coaching because I think it's such an important topic.
Changed my life.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. I honestly think it was a year of two halves. Like,
oh, we're talking rugby analogies now.
oh, yeah.
Yay.
Loves to throw a few of those in. Pre-coach, post-coach, especially
Nice.
with this particular challenge.
Well, do you know what's really interesting is probably the other little soapbox topic I've had for the last few years is because I'm trained as an executive coach as well, and I've hired them myself and for my teams over the years. I have real belief in the power of getting an A team around you, especially when you are going through a career change.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking and planning about a career change and kind of going, whoa, I don't really know how to transition my career, working with a coach can really help you even just get clarity on the areas you don't want to move into. That can actually help. But if you are moving into a new role and you kind of need to show up in a different way, having a coach is so helpful.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And it's just, and having the right coach is really helpful.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things for me was that it took me 6 months to find one.
Yeah.
Like, it was hard.
Yeah.
Even just getting an email back from someone.
Yeah.
So obviously people are utilizing coaches, which was great, but also at the same time, it's like finding a therapist in this economy. It's quite difficult.
Yeah. And then finding one that you respect. I
Yeah.
think that's really important because someone can be a really well-trained coach, but if there isn't respect, you won't get out of it what you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, it becomes a waste of your money.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in terms of working with the coach in the situation where, the kind of career challenge for 2023 around stepping from being part of a cohort and a peer group into having to lead that team, are there any other insights from working with that coach or the work you've done or your own sort of light bulb moments that have come through for helping you step into the new role fully?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we got tears. No,
I was trying
sneeze.
not to yawn.
I was like,
I was trying not to yawn. Not going to lie.
we can cry, sneeze, or yawn.
I mean,
It's fine.
Cry, sneeze, yawn, it's fine.
But no, I'm going to yawn because I said yawn.
Oh, so sorry. What was the question? No, what else have I learned to move me past that? I think this is so cheesy, but Jesus Christ, it's so important. Putting your own oxygen mask on first, and how I threw myself into looking after my team and making sure that my team was okay, and just mama beared the shit out of it and went into this place that I just don't want to ever go back to, where it was, I need to be there looking after everyone. It's like, no, they're all functioning adults. They can look after themselves. My job is to make sure that they're working on the right shit to achieve the business goals, not be their mother. And sometimes it feels like wrangling toddlers. Yes, I know that everyone from work is probably listening, but it does.
Lovable toddlers.
Lovable toddlers. And I have once or twice described it like being at Disneyland with like 10 toddlers and they're all on leashes and they're all trying to go in different directions.
I like that. It means you've got good diversity and strong personality.
Exactly. Thank you. But it was, my coach was really focused on, that's all well and good, but if you collapse, the whole fucking pyramid collapses. Like, you are, what's the sister's name in Encanto, where she's like the super strong one?
Oh, she's amazing.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about,
I know
right?
exactly what you're talking about.
He was like, you're like that. You're carrying everything else where you actually don't have to.
Isabel?
Yes. I think so. I don't know. You don't have to take on that responsibility. And so we had this big conversation about responsibility, and he gave me this great article about who's got the monkey.
Oh,
and,
yeah. The monkey's on backs.
Yeah, and where that monkey sits, and how employees and, employees that aren't necessarily performing at their best are really fucking good at passing the monkey back to you if you're an empathetic leader or an empathetic manager.
So are customers. So if you're in a sales role, customers are really good at wanting you to own all of the monkeys.
Yeah. And so we talked about where that responsibility sits, and how the house on my shoulders, the boulders on my shoulders were me carrying everyone else's responsibilities.
Yeah.
And I needed to take care of my own first. Otherwise, the business would never move forward.
Is responsibility one of your strengths in Strength Finder? You can't remember.
I honestly can't remember.
You're like, that was a while ago now.
I probably.
Yeah, because I always think about my friend Morty, who says things like, remember, any strength overdone is a weakness. Which is when you get really good at responsibility. Because I'm going, you overachieved at responsibility, Kels.
Yeah.
Like, being responsible is a really nice quality, but like anything,
Too far.
if you overcommit.
Too far, too far.
Yeah.
So
and you're responsible to others, not to yourself.
that's it
Yeah.
as well. And I just became reactive.
Yeah.
And
You're just taking on too much.
yeah, and nothing ever gets done.
Yeah.
Nothing ever gets finished
Yeah.
because they just go, oh, well, no, I thought you had it. Because I always do have it.
Yeah.
And so I introduced rubber duckies.
Oh, I was wondering if is this where the ducks came
This
from?
is where the ducks
Talk us
came
through the
from.
ducks, Gus.
So I ordered, this is another TikTok hole that I went down, but I'm really into watching people who own Jeeps swap rubber duckies. And so you collect rubber duckies from other Jeep owners. And so I was watching that and I just had my coaching session. I was like, I'm going to get responsibility ducks. And so to make the responsibility visible and to make sure
It's physically like moving a monkey.
yeah,
I
like
like
a
this.
monkey, and moving it, and so knowing who has it and where it's sitting, and visually making it easy to see that I am holding 20 responsibilities. Don't come and give me your duck. I ordered 50 rubber duckies of varying colours and shapes.
Took us through a couple of the creative ducks, Kels.
Well, one of the team put a nail through the side of one of the heads.
Oh.
Well, he had a mohawk and he was like, he's a bit punk, so he just wanted to help. One of them had a bikini on, so the team decided to draw nipples on it. And then one of the dogs in the office bit the nose off one of the other ones.
Oh,
So
okay. So there's been, the ducks have been through a bit of journey.
yeah, and hey, look, the ducks are currently, we moved offices, the ducks are currently sitting in a drawer. I'm going to reset the ducks at the start of the year, but it was really good exercise for me to understand where the responsibility roadblocks were and where things weren't moving.
Did you try stealing back some ducks?
I definitely did.
Yeah.
And then tried to palm them out again. But yeah, responsibility was a big one. I think there was a good one of stepping into my managerness as a leader.
And so that delegating and getting other people to
Yeah.
deliver on your behalf. Yeah, I honestly think there's something that's not taught but could be, is that how to perform through others.
Absolutely. And also trusting others to perform.
Yeah.
I think when the biggest thing for me and the biggest realization for me was that when I take on that responsibility and I take that away from someone else, it says to them that I don't trust them to deliver.
Yeah.
So how the fuck are they going to go and do their job?
Yeah.
And how are they going to continue, especially if you're in a space where you're trying to build a high performing team?
Yeah.
Trust is a core fundamental of that. And so I think it was just a real light bulb moment for me in terms of if I take that on, I'm not living my authentic values and trusting these very capable human beings that I've hired to do a job to do their job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's also kind of like the, I don't know if you've seen the meme about the butterfly and the cocoon. And so if you try and help the butterfly hatch from the cocoon, you actually damage and destroy the butterfly and it never builds its wings, whereas it needs to actually go through the process of breaking out of the cocoon to become a beautiful, strong butterfly.
Oh, that's a bit cute.
It's a bit cute, I know, but actually...
I was just thinking about badly behaved children. You know, those children that are real spoiled and they never have to do anything for themselves, turn into real shitty adults.
Yeah, dated a few of those.
Yeah.
On that note, that's some really awesome insight, actually. And I think it's something we can never be too good at, as in being committing to our management journey and our leadership journey. And I see those as integrated, but there's different skills that sit in each bucket.
Absolutely. And also there are 100 different ways to do management and leadership.
Yeah.
And understanding who you are and how you want to turn up
Yeah.
is so fundamentally important to building your journey and becoming who you are going to be in that space.
Yeah.
Because when you're trying to be you know, I think you've talked about it before, the dude that has read every single self-help and improvement book, but still turns up and is still a fucking asshole and a terrible leader and a terrible manager.
That was my old boss.
Yeah. You know, like,
he had an affair with a secretary.
Oh my
he was
God,
such a
okay.
cliche.
That's a whole other level. But you know what I mean? Like, it's until you decide what's important to you in that space, and also doing it in conjunction with the business that you're working in as well. Like, what type of leader, what type of manager needs to show up in that business? What are you capable of? And marrying those two things together.
Yeah, McKinsey does this really good model. Not that I'm always a big fan of McKinsey or the big consulting firms, but what I did like about this is they talk about contextual leadership and how in certain contexts you'll need to behave in a certain way. And same for organizations. If you're going through a major growth phase, you need your leadership team to be people that are growth minded.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're in a real consolidation, cost down, divestment kind of space, you'll need a different kind of style from your leaders or different leaders around the table. So that context matters. It really does. Because if that's definitely been me, that I'm usually the quite ambitious, growth focused, you know, how do we really empower people and drive for change? And I've worked for organizations that, you know, I was like the lonely little salmon swimming upstream. And, and so that knowing the context and, fitting in with your organizational culture is really important.
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
choosing to go to one that much more suits your natural, authentic style.
Yeah.
Yeah, such a good point.
Yeah. And I think you can only do that with an understanding of yourself.
Yeah.
And so the challenge this year has been understanding myself to be able to understand it in the context of work.
So good. That is awesome.
No wonder
what a
I'm
year.
fucking tired.
Yeah, I was going to say, you deserve to be on the beach in Raro just chilling the fuck out. You have earned it.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm going to enjoy it.
Awesome. Well, I hope everyone else has an awesome break and is chilled out too, and maybe get some time to reflect and think about the challenge that they've had and overcome. And if you want to share any of your stories with us, we'd love to hear them. So thank you for listening in. We appreciate it, and we'll be back in your ear holes again soon.